Hello friends, it is June 12th and I'm just making a little video to tell you guys where I'm at. So I am in my, or let's say this, day 2 of round 4 for my monthly sort of cycles. I just had on Tuesday. So Monday was mistletoe and it was great because we actually stayed in Atlanta this weekend, so I didn't have a 4-hour drive down that morning, which was wonderful. It was just wonderful. So we went down to Atlanta and kind of had some fun for not the first time, because we've been having fun, but you know, felt like nobody really knew my diagnosis. I don't know, it was kind of freeing. It felt great. We hadn't gone to this, so what we did is we went to a Blade Expo. It's like a big knife convention. My partner's big into knives. So we had gone to this. She's gone a few times, but we'd gone to this 6 years ago, you know, and with COVID and things, you know, wasn't happening. And then when it was happening, we were just not traveling much. So now we got to go. And after 6 years, you know, people actually remembered us. So that was really cool. I mean, Sarah is kind of, you know, been rubbing elbows with some of the big wigs of the knife making world for a while. She used to do a lot of everyday carry, EDC type stuff. So there's a really big community for that, and a lot of them like knives. So it was just cool, you know, to know that there's so many people that get into that, and yet they still remember people like us. So I don't know, it was a really fun weekend. We got to catch up with an old friend, Jim Worth, and he's just an incredible human. So Jim, if you're watching, I just want to thank you again. It was such a wonderful weekend. He ended up sharing a hotel room with us. One of his employees left early, so we got to snag his hotel room the first night, which really saved us a lot of money and stress. And we got to go out to dinner with them, which he would say was probably a disaster, but it was just because they made us sit around for so long, and they ended up missing their awards. So of course, he's the owner of Giant Mouse, which is a really killer knife company that actually makes knives that are extremely top-notch, but they're not going to break your bank. They're affordable. I mean, you can get crazy with knives, but these are like just well made. So anyway, if you're into knives, check out Giant Mouse. But I did want to share something that I hadn't been carrying around for a while, and I've started carrying it around again. The expo kind of makes you do this, but something Jim gave me a while back that really meant the world, and now just more than ever is kind of one of these little trinkets I like to carry around. There's something nice about having something in your pocket. You can kind of just stick your hands in there and kind of feel it. So he used to make these. His original company was, I'll put it over my head, was Carpe Diem. And so he does these really cool skulls, and this is made of silver, and he just gave it to me, not really knowing me that well. He just knew Sarah, which again, and it comes with this sweet, cute leather case. I mean, who does this stuff? It's just incredible. So I've pulled this back out, and I just love this thing. So I'm gonna put it in my pocket for a while and carry it around. Little stuff like that are great, I guess, mementos to remember to live every day, or to live your day at the fullest, or, you know, kind of like the memento mori, like remember death. So live now, because, you know, everyone has an expiration date. Nobody knows when that is, and nobody can tell you, which is a big lesson I've learned with cancer. They don't know how long you'll live. They can estimate, you know, but as you know, the statistics are just stats. They're not individual cases. They're lump sums of the general public, you know, and the general public's not taking great care of themselves. They don't even know how to take good care of themselves. You know, these are things we probably should have had in elementary school, like not just, I mean, a lot of people lost out on home ec, which is mind-blowing to me, but like, you know, how to cook for yourself, just basic hygiene. I mean, there's things that people just seem to miss in life, and it's too bad. You know, those are really important things to know at an early age. I mean, here I am arguing that we should have anatomy much earlier so people respect their bodies better, which, you know, I think the world could do a lot with. If we had more knowledge in our own bodies, we'd probably look at the world a little different, treat ourselves a little different, treat other people a little different. I don't know, just saying. So anyway, it was a wonderful weekend. So we did that Saturday, and then Sunday we had some breakfast with those guys, the knife makers, and then we scooted over to the aquarium. So the aquarium in Georgia, if you've never been, is incredible. I wouldn't recommend going on a Sunday unless you love children. There were a lot of kids there. Understandably, it's a Sunday, but I would probably go during a work week day next time and just spend some time hanging out in some of those giant rooms with those huge observation tanks and just watch. I believe, if I'm correct, it's the only aquarium in the world that has whale sharks and manta rays. So those are just really incredible to see. Highly recommend it. So go check it out. So I did convince Sarah to walk. We got a hotel for that night, that Sunday night. I got us a night at the Georgian Terrace, and I, for the first time ever, used points off my credit card to pay for it, which is so cool. Feels like a free room. So that was fun, but it's like super walkable. There's like the Fox Theater right across the street. By the way, this Georgian Terrace is like over 100 years old. It's built in 1911. It's just gorgeous architecture. I mean, the rooms are, we just got like a basic king or whatever, and it wasn't anything fancy, but being old, it's just beautiful. Like they just made things really solid then, and it's just well made. But the lower areas and the lounges and everything is just amazing. It's fun to look at. Beautiful building. Very walkable. So we walked to the aquarium, and it's Atlanta, so it's hot. It's hot Atlanta. So I had like my UV layer on, I got my hoodie up, I got my hat on. I bought a t-shirt at the aquarium, so when we left, I put that over my head too, so it created like a little bit more of a shield on my face for the sun hitting. Since I always seem to get this rash more on my jaw, I think it's just like it only shades me so well. So I tried that and it seemed to work. I didn't break out. My face looks pretty good. Yeah, and we walked the whole way and back. I did overheat a little halfway, so we pulled into this area that turned out to be Emory Hospital, which had this beautiful big DNA strand, and that's a cancer hospital in Atlanta. And it's one of the few places I know of, I think there's one in Tennessee too, that does the proton therapy, which I could see that department of the hospital right out from my hotel room. So it's neat, you look at the world a little different. But Emory is a huge hospital, and the proton therapy is basically like radiation, but instead of using electrons, from what I understand, this isn't like I've done all the research yet, but do your own, but it uses protons, and so it's less penetrating. It's even more focused. So when they say that they have focused radiation, they mean they can shoot in a smaller diameter. They don't mean they can control the distance. It can still go deep, and that's the problem. So with mine, if they were to do radiation, which I will not opt to do, I won't do radiation, they would be targeting it right at my tumor in my left breast. Well, what's under that? It's not a far shot to my heart. It's not a far shot through my lungs. So, you can get away with radiation for several shots of it without really feeling anything, but once it starts accumulating, it's hard to take back. It creates fibrosis, so it'll scar everything down. And I know surgeons, and I know people who have warned me very strongly to avoid it at all costs. I also know that I've dissected cadavers that have, on their records, had radiation, so I know that tissue becomes just a nightmare in there. I think it could be helpful for certain cancers for people, but I think it could be more focused, and that's the proton therapy. So do your research, check out proton therapy. It just doesn't penetrate as deep. So instead of hitting the heart, and you can see these, you can just Google this. This is all public information, but you can see it can still hit the targeted area, but it doesn't hit as deep. So lot less cumulative damage, which is the key when we're using treatments that are hurting us more than we're targeting. I mean, that's the truth of it. It causes more collateral damage than it does for the tumor. So we need to think about these things. So yeah, proton therapy, it's cool stuff. So that was neat to see. It's just cool that I'm putting the pieces together, but really fun weekend. So I was able to convince Sarah to get off Monday so we didn't have to do this drive, 8 times. So I didn't have to go down Monday morning. So we were already there. We had like a 25-minute drive over to the clinic, which was just cool. Got there nice and early, got hooked up to my IV, and then they wheeled me outside. I get to work with alabaster, so I'm doing like this art class with Jessie, and she's teaching me how to carve and sand alabaster stone, which is incredibly fun. It's a little harder than like soapstone. Just something good to do with your hands. It keeps me standing and moving, and I like that because I'm so sick of sitting with these IVs. And then I went in for my IT, my intratumoral injection, which it was a little pinchy this time. It wasn't too bad, nothing compared to the past, but I definitely have a pretty decent little bubble in that tumor from the mistletoe. So it's just kind of like, you're filling it with fluid, basically, and it hasn't totally dissipated into my body. It's obviously stuck in a little necrotic space in the tumor. So I will be doing a castor oil pack tonight to move that fluid a bit. So hopefully tomorrow for my second surgical consult, this will be with Dr. Michelle LeBlanc at 3:15. I will hopefully be looking like more of the original tumor size. I'm not the original tumor size, the current tumor size, not artificially inflated by mistletoe. So I'll probably bounce on the rebounder and move the lymph as much as I can, try to get that area back to what it was looking like before. So hopefully I get great news and we don't have to do much more chemo. But I will say that I just got my schedule printed and they did book me through August for the Messino clinic right now. So I think Dr. Rob caught her mistake and probably sees that I'm really only in my 4th round instead of my 5th, which darn. But maybe I won't need it anyway. I'm thinking, you know, there's only so much chemo to do on the front end. If we get it shrunk down enough, should be good to take out. Let's do that so that we don't exhaust chemo too much in the beginning in case I have to use it on the back end. Hopefully I won't have to, but we'll see. Things that I just wanted to share with you guys, traveling, you know, with somebody like me who's slightly immunocompromised, you know, it's a little nerve-wracking going into some of these big rooms, a lot of people, but here I am feeling pretty good. I didn't catch anything. Sarah, on the other hand, sounds a little under the weather. She's kind of got a little upper respiratory thing, probably, you know, layered with all of the allergies going on right now. So she's dealing with some stuff. But some of the things I bring with me that are really helpful to keep my immune system and maybe even just my psyche feeling like I'm doing what I need to do. Let's say somebody coughs next to you. You know, it's really important to make sure those mucous membranes are moisturized. It's a big common thing when people travel that flights, you know, the altitude alone is going to dehydrate you. And then, you know, the blast air, the filtered air, all of the forced air into the cabin also dehydrates. The stress of travel, I mean, just think of it, it just compounds from there. So there's no surprise that people get sick when they travel. So I tend to travel with stuff like this. They can even fly, you can fly with 2 ounces now, which is pretty cool. So this is still a travel size and you have a lot of it, but they have 1 ounce too. But I really like Host Defense. Host Defense Myco Shield. This is a peppermint flavored one. They have different flavors. Peppermint's strong, I like it. I just kind of put a couple sprays in the back of the throat, like that. You can do more or less, but I'm trying to coat the back of my throat so I have a barrier to not only stimulate saliva, which will help keep my mouth moist, so it doesn't allow pathogens in. As soon as it dries out, you're susceptible. It's really dangerous. Even your lips. So you should keep your lips moist as well. But this is like a blend of different mushrooms just to help the immune system get triggered that something might need attention. So I love that one. I've used that one for years. That's probably one of my favorite. I've given it to my family. I mean, anytime you get scratch in your throat, you can spray it in there. It's a wonderful, wonderful product. You could get that online. If you're in town, you can get it from me, whatever. It doesn't matter to me. And I love Beekeeper's Naturals. This is a new one I found this past year. Been trying to do some more. Right now I'm doing probiotics, not daily. I don't know if I believe daily probiotics are a good idea other than like sauerkraut, yogurt, like natural sources of fermented things. But I don't know, some of the newer research saying taking probiotics daily is not a good thing. But who knows? I haven't done the background research on the research. So, but they're showing there's some possible links with dementia. So do your own research. Don't freak out if you're taking a daily probiotic. I'm not saying it's going to cause that. I'm just saying we might not know enough about what we need to know enough about. When I take probiotics, I tend to do a big blast of like a 15-day thing. I hit my immune system with it. It makes your belly a little uncomfortable the first 2 days or so because it's gas producing. I mean, it's die off and you're trying to put an army in there basically. So there's going to be some gas, but you know, after that you're fine. So I'd do like a 15-day thing, usually in the spring or the fall. I typically do it once a year, maybe one every other year. I probably will wait until next spring to do one, depending on where I'm at in my healing stages. And then you shouldn't have to do it all the time. You should maintain with your diet. But this company does a probiotic, so I like their stuff. And of course, they had a spray, so I was always curious. I love these things. So this one I keep on my bed. And it's with propolis, and so it's super nutrient rich. You just coat the back of the throat, couple sprays like I did with the other. And yeah, it's wonderful. It really helps to get your immune system stronger, or at least more present there, or supported. It's a great supplement. So I would recommend, if you like throat sprays, that those are two really good ones I like. And then I wanted to also say a thank you to one of my folks out in the greenhouse out in Old Fort. Shout out to Asia and Asia's mom. Thank you guys so much. They made me this like Thai garlic honey, which is just incredible. I've never had this. I've never gotten to use something like this before. And I've just started putting a little into our tea. I put a little into my matcha this morning, just a little. I haven't been doing a lot of sweet stuff in general. I tried to get into molasses for a bit. It's good, it's strong. I need to work on that one. But the honey, you know, having garlic and thyme and all these other beautiful herbs that are infused into it, that's another layer of antiviral, antibacterial, and antifungal properties that, you know, I just can't deny. That's fantastic. So I'm doing just a smidge of that, and that'll be really lovely if I ever get sick too for the throat. So I've been putting it in with Sarah's stuff too, and you know, we'll nibble a little piece of garlic after, which is just lovely. So thank you again, you guys, for gifting me that. I think that's everything. That was a longer video. I accidentally did already a video for this up in the backyard, and then realized I wasn't recording sound, so it was totally quiet. So here we are, round 2. I think I did a better job, got a little bit more to the point. I'm a little longer, but thank you guys for hanging in there with me, and I hope you guys all have a wonderful Wednesday. I'll try to do some reading this weekend and maybe do a fun video. I'm still wrapping my brain around methylene blue, which there's a lot of avenues for it, but that's hopefully going to be a good topic to talk more about in the future as well. Anyway, have a great day and take care.